The film I chose to watch is The Lore. In this film, it's like a war and drama type of movie. It's about how a teenage girl named Lore and her siblings journey across Nazi Germany to get to their grandmother's house following the end of the World War II. They're trying to get as far as away from their parents because their parents were radical members of the Nazi Party, and their parents know that her and her siblings need to go as far away as they can so they won't be captured and executed for their crimes. As you embark on the journey with Laura and her siblings, many emotions are expressed throughout the film, such as regret, radical ideas, and other emotions. In the first source I chose, it's a cover art for the film Lore. In it, you can notice how there's some very prominent features on her, such as her nice bright blue eyes, her flowing blonde hair, and the Nazi flag in the background. And those features pertain to the Aryan race, and you can kind of tell how it was favored during that time. And my second choice, I chose the definition of lore. My friend who I was watching with, she pointed out how the definition of lore kind of relates to it in a way because she's very into history and film and she really gets into the deep knowledge of everything. So basically, in terms of the film, I only saw the word lore as the main protagonist names. However, upon deeper context, you can consider lore of Nazi Germany. You could argue that lore of Nazi Germany is what's in the history books, such as the constant censorship of information and hiding of the bad things against Jewish people of Germany. And then I go on to talk about it more. In another source, I chose this movie review made in 2013 by Roger Ebert. In the movie review, it just talks about a lot of sexual and political awakenings within the film lore, and I can notice very prominent stuff like how the author writes, citizens everywhere are often lost in their fog of the nation's propaganda until reality comes crashing in. This perfectly describes Laura's switch from being radical like her parents before finding out all the horrible things that was happening in the Holocaust to who she is now and how she found what she needed to find throughout her journey. And another example I chose is a trailer. So one thing that really caught my eye throughout this trailer is how most of it is red. And as you can see, it really surrounds the main character Lore. For example, in the trailer, there's a scene where Lore enters a room with a pink sheet that covers the window, making the room a bright shade of hot pink. There are many examples that show it, and the color red can symbolize a lot of things like lust, sexual desires, or even infatuation that she feels throughout the film. And another example is this tweet that says, just got out of a screening of Kate Shortland's Lore, incredibly moving film with a great central performance with that person. I chose this tweet because I think it's a very, very touching moment because I also agreed with what he said. Everything about this movie was really, really great and I really enjoyed watching it. And yeah. And there's another tweet where this Charlie Becker says, not an easy watch, but Lore is a beautiful film. Post-war Germany, brave, raw, and thoughtful. This is another example about how Lore was not an easy watch. I cannot agree more because this film is not something you would watch on something casual. It's very more in depth. And another example, I said Nazi Party. In this source, I said, as all of us know, Nazi Germany carried out really horrible things, and I go on to describe the radicalism and brainwashing that took place throughout Nazi and how it showcased many examples and scenes where Laura's parents brainwashed their children the way that Hitler has brainwashed them. And then my last example